Hi, I'm Shauna McElroy, and today I'm here to tell you why cursing should be permitted on daytime television. So, just out of curiosity, how many of you have ever said a curse word before in your lives? Okay, good. Now, how many of you have heard an adult curse when you were young? Whether you choose to do it or whether you don't, cursing is a part of our everyday lives. So why is it censored on television? This is a problem that is caused by the Federal Communications Commission, or the FCC, and can be solved by persistent civilian participation in statements against their decision. Censorship of cursing on television should not exist because it violates the First Amendment, diminishes writing value, and is a very subjective matter. Further explained, the problem in censoring cursing on daytime television. My main point 1 is unconstitutionality. Only obscene content, which must be tested by a three-pronged test, is not protected by the First Amendment. The three-pronged test is it must appeal to an average person's prurient interest, depict or describe sexual conduct in a patently offensive way, and, taken as a whole, lack serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. Since profane words fall under none of these categories, it is unconstitutional to ban cursing on daytime television. The First Amendment protects the American people from government censorship, but the First Amendment's protections are not absolute, leading to Supreme Court cases involving the question of what is protected by speech and what is not protected by speech. What can be broadcasted and what can't seems to be highly selective, which isn't fair to TV scriptwriters. This could lead to biases on what ends up actually airing and what ends up not airing at all. So my second point is creator content. It is also unfair to TV scriptwriters because it diminishes the passion they wish to take their audience with. Writers have intentions for audience to see TV content the way they thought of it in their heads first. When they are artistically restricted, the intensity of their thoughts loses value. And you can thank the FCC for all of this. The problem is caused by the Federal Communications Commission. So, selectivity. There is a selectivity in the Jacob Ellis v. Ohio Supreme Court ruling in 1964. In the ruling, Justice Potter was asked to define hardcore pornography and famously said, "I know it when I see it." This is how we know the judiciary branch is selective in what they choose to censor and what they choose not to censor for televised purposes. Now, in the Fox case, the FCC tried Fox in 2004 for an incident at the Billboard Awards, and before this ruling, the FCC would censor four-letter profane words only if they had been repeated many times on air. After this ruling, the FCC said they would ban the use of any swear word, even if only used once on daytime television. During this case, the court did not settle whether the FCC policy violated the First Amendment. Instead, it only held that broadcasters had a constitutional right to be warned in advance of what the new policy prohibited, and that the FCC had imposed the change policy after broadcasts had aired rather than before. The good thing is, we are able to make a change on our own. Imagine a world in which we are able to watch uncensored, artistically expressive TV with unaltered language in it. The solution is to get in contact with the Federal Communications Commission. Main point 1 is writing emails. Consistent civilian participation in writing emails to the FCC can result in persuading them to change their rules for broadcasting. If we could write to them how unfair it is to creators to be limiting them artistically, how they're being too selective when choosing what to censor, and that they are violating the First Amendment. Another point would be to call. Another way to contact the Federal Communications Commission would be to call them. Let them know again that it is unfair to creators by limiting them artistically, that they are being too selective in choosing what to censor and what not to censor, and that they are violating the First Amendment. A few more ways you could get in contact with the Federal Communications Commission would be to write them a letter and fax it to them, or to send it by mail, and by visiting their website. To contact them to leave a complaint or a comment, they have a tab for that. So, now, I'd like you all to take action for this cause. If you could send an email to the FCC and ask them to revise their rules on censorship during daytime television, we could have better television as a whole. We could allow creators to freely express themselves and help end the selective bias of censorship, and make the FCC understand that it is unconstitutional to censor language. To end, I leave you with this quote by Salman Rushdie. What is freedom of expression? Without the freedom to offend, it ceases to exist. Thank you.